Tuesdays with Geocache Talk.
I cannot get used to no intro now.
We have no
intro. I can't.
Just for fun.
We're live.
We're live. We are live tonight.
Yes, we are live.
Happy Hodag. Let's do this thing. Hey, Ontario. Glad to hear. Glad you're hearing this.
Cool.
Awesome. We love our friends up north and also over in Australia.
Yeah, and Finland.
Thank you, Craig. In Finland.
Manitoba.
Oh, Manitoba. Excellent.
Yep. Abe's here. We got people from all over the place. I hope everybody's area of the world is doing well, too.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to turn up so I can hear a little better, but you're good. Pizza Ninja in the house.
Indiana.
Yeah, nice to hear. Indiana, yes.
A state I don't have yet.
Seriously?
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy.
I got to get up there soon, though.
Yeah, I've got some out west I need to get, but
it was on the plans for this year.
Yeah,
but a couple things got in the way.
Janice, good for you. Glad you're there. Texas, Massachusetts. I've found some caches in Massachusetts. Been very happy to go there.
I have a cache in Massachusetts.
In the Long Island, I searched for and found. This is many years ago. Crazy. I found. What was the guy's name? I'll think of it in a minute. Oh, well. I found a celebrity's house and I took a picture of the front, which you can't see the house. I took a picture of the gate. That's how. Oh, it was. God, why am I drawing a blank? Oh, well. Toledo, Ohio. We can go on and on. Let's get started. Thank you, guys. Thanks, everyone, for joining. I think we've got an interesting show tonight.
I'm pretty Ohio here. My brother's up in Ohio, and my mom, in fact, right now. So,
yeah, that's cool.
I like Audie's attitude.
Can't give up every time there's a band. Yeah, I agree.
Pennsylvania. Yeah, we got all kinds of people in tonight.
Oh,
so, what is our topic? What are we going to talk about tonight?
We are going to cover
the lottery.
Favorite point worthiness.
Yeah.
Talk about a loaded topic.
I have to admit, my opinions on favorite points have changed since the last time we talked about it.
Okay.
So I'm sure we'll get into that. There's a reason they've changed too. It wasn't just randomly.
Well, this will be interesting. I've got. I'm going to fire these across the internet to you in Colorado, across from Texas to Colorado. I'm going to fire them right at you, so you have to kind of duck and weave and bob and weave, or just take them in the face, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. I'm going to start with a grouping, and then I want you to kind of talk about the grouping, okay?
Okay.
Geocaching headquarters. It has currently...
Oh, you're just going to jump right into that?
I'm jumping right in. 4,944 favorite points, okay?
Okay.
Now, and I'm not trying... I mean, we are an international show, so
right.
I don't want people to think I'm just picking on U.S. ones, but I'm just using them as an example.
Yes.
So if you're in Australia, you can get the gist of where I'm going. You can pick local caches based on what we're going to talk about tonight, okay?
Okay.
All right. So 4,944 favorite points. Okay. Keep that in mind for a moment. Headquarters Geo Tour. Cherry Tree. I think you've even done this one.
Yeah, I've done the Geo Tour.
3,065. Ode to the Golga Frinchin phone workers. Very famous cache. Very cool cache. 2,991.
That's a lot.
Okay. Oh, is it? All right. Troll droppings. You've seen the troll in Fremont.
Mm-hmm.
1,718 favorite points.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, what the heck?
Why do they have so many favorite points?
Yes. Or what? No, not necessarily why, but should they?
So they have yes. And here's why.
Okay.
Just like we were talking about recently with Mingo, right? We were talking about Mingo recently. And if you took Mingo and published it today.
We'll get to Mingo in a minute.
Okay. If you took some of these caches and took away the other historical significance of certain caches,
right,
they wouldn't be the same. Right. Or the rarity of a cache.
Right.
Or
no. You're jumping ahead You're jumping ahead here.
Okay. You want me to do a small answer.
Small answer. Why do those caches I just gave you you're saying they should have favorite points? What is it? What is it other than,
it's the significance so favorite points are they're for more factors than just a cache, right?
Right.
Like quite often people will, the first time they've ever found a cache, they mark it like the first bolt cache they've ever found.
Sure.
They favorite that because it was a favorite for them.
Yeah.
And we've talked about how you use favorite points, right? Before.
Yeah.
Whether you're bringing somebody to an area or it's just something for you and you're like, I like that one. I want to remember it for some reason. I'm going to mark it.
Yep.
When you go to headquarters, do what?
You're talking general again.
I know. Okay, so headquarters. We'll go specifically with headquarters.
Okay.
When we went to headquarters, and I should have brought Christy on for this one because we have different opinions.
Yeah.
We went to headquarters. Everybody favorites headquarters, right? Like millions of people favorite it. Why? It's not even really a cache. It is a cache, but it's not a cache. There is a cache in there, but it's not, right?
Yeah,
I went there and I was a nerd at Nerdland. I was having fun with it. I liked all the stuff that was there. I'm checking out the displays on the wall. And Christy, on the other hand, goes, "That's all there is to this?" She goes, "This is terrible." So
was a little disappointing because it's not really like IBM headquarters. You kind of don't even know what's there unless you go to it.
I thought it was neat. I thought it was very neat. I thought it was cool. There's all kinds of stuff on the wall. It's the only one in the world. There's a lot of reasons that I gave it a favorite point and Christy would not have. And in fact, didn't. So
you have fallen into my first trap, which is the aura of headquarters.
I don't know that you spelled that right.
I probably didn't.
That's a new word, though. It's okay. We're inventing stuff.
AURA.
Is that right?
Definition. Distinct atmosphere or quality that seems to surround and be generated by a person, thing, or place. Aura. AURA. There. Boom.
Okay, correct. So, and I believe that's a perfectly valid reason. But again, this may be going ahead, but it depends on why you give favorite points. So we may get to that later in the show.
We'll get to that later. All right. Okay. Next grouping. I got a ton of these, so we're just gonna roll tonight.
Do you want to really just get into the Geo Tour, headquarters Geo Tour?
No.
Okay. Right. I got some thoughts on that one, but I'll save it for later.
That's for another show, even.
Oh no! Okay.
That's for another show.
Okay.
People love it. Well, I'm not saying it's bad. So let me caveat this whole thing tonight. I'm going to get into a lot of topics, and I'm not saying they're good or bad, but they are what they are.
Come on now, though. Hold on. I got to ask you a question. Have you been to headquarters?
I have not yet. Well, no, I need to.
Okay, never mind. Then I can't ask you that question.
No. Now, my son went there and took a picture for me. And he goes, "That's the picture from the outside." And I'm like, "Where is it?" "Oh, it's that building there." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
So you haven't even been in there. So
no, I can't complain. All right, next ones. All right.
Okay. I'll save my comments on that one for later.
Save your comments. All right, here we go. Original Stash tribute plaque has 3,946 points.
Yes.
Favorite points.
I've been there.
Original.
I'm one of those points.
It's a tribute to the original stash. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Unoriginal stash, not in. So another one nearby. GC 92. It's really old too, by the way. It's the unoriginal stash. 1,596 points. Favorite points. Okay. I'm going to skip that. So there's a couple of them for examples, and I'm calling it the near headquarters itis.
It's not near headquarters, though.
But you're kind of near headquarters.
Actually, in a different state.
It's a different state, I know, but you're around that area.
See, I would argue that those are because of historical significance.
Okay. Well, okay.
The main one is. The other one's leakage, right? But historical significance for the unoriginal, because Christy stayed sleeping in the bed when I went to go find that one in the hotel, because I went at 4 a.m. I favorited that one, and I thought it was really cool. The whole story behind it. Technically, not even a cache, right? Although there is an ammo can right next to it that you can sign.
Yeah.
But
no, you're right. Curious KDB's right. It's not a short drive between the two, but in the grand scheme of things,
I think near HQ-itis could be translated into leakage if you're not going to talk about that later.
Leakage, and those are probably not the good examples. There's probably caches near HQ that aren't part of the Geo Tour that have a lot of here's another example. I can look it up, but I didn't look it up. Mingo the Merciless.
Yeah. So that is absolutely dribble down points. So Mingo, and are we going to talk about Mingo later?
Yeah, we'll talk about Mingo and other ones later.
Or we're going to talk about Mingo the Merciless later.
No, right now. We're talking.
So that's whatever you call it. I don't know what the term should be for it. Dribble down, trickle down effect, or
like that.
Cast off points, or just it's kind of think of it as like the real cache is radioactive. It gets all the points, but everyone around it, the closer you get to it, they get more points. Right. Like, I'm here, so I'll get you're on that high of like visiting the oldest cache in the world or visiting headquarters, and you're like, oh, I'm just in a good mood. I'm just gonna favorite everything I find around here.
All right, we'll call it Favorite Point Dribble.
You know what? That is Favorite Point Dribble is definitely because that's what it is. You see these caches, and the one you're talking about, I even know the owner of it, so I'm not downplaying that cache. There is nothing special about that cache. Zero, and it's got like 300 favorite points.
Mingo the Merciless?
Yeah. That's the one in the poll, right?
Yeah, and the only cool thing is and I want to do we care about spoilers on that thing? It's got the nice little cover that says Mingo on it.
Come on now. 300 points. If that was in Texas, if that was in the middle of your town, is that going to have 300 favorite points?
No.
It's because it's close to the other one.
I give you a better one than that. Bump on a log.
You know what? I got to say something before we get to it. We may get to it later.
Okay.
While I would not favorite point that one, anybody that wants to use their favorite points in any way they want, I'm 100% in support of that. So
I know
we'll get to that part later, I'm sure. But
that's going to come up.
Don't let anybody tell you how to use your favorite points. That is your favorite points. I will favorite every LPC in my life if I want to, and there's nothing you can do about it. So
that's right. Bump on a log. That's even worse. I mean, that is literally.
No, that's a fake log, though, isn't it?
Well, kind of, isn't it?
There's something to that one. That's not just a poll.
I guess a little bit. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
But it's got like 200 something favorite points too, doesn't it?
It's got a ton. It's just it's across the street from Mingo.
Favorite Point Dribble, right? It's dribbling off the main one there.
Favorite Point Dribble. All right, next one.
Oh, there you go. I like this. The proximity effect.
Yes.
That's pretty good. That sounds a little less creepy than Favorite Point Dribble.
Dribble. I kind of like the dribble though. It's dribbling out. All right, next one.
Oh, hold on. Craig's got something too. That's absolutely for another show. Yeah. No, we absolutely agree with that. And Gary's book that he wrote addresses that a lot. And that's if you're looking at percentage of favorite points, That's what you look at, that Lower Wilson score.
That's a whole book, my friend.
Well, that's a whole book and way longer than one podcast. Yeah.
What's funny too, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but something that did happen is this book got into a big discussion on the geocaching Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
It blew up, and thank you to everybody who defended the book and tried to explain that. I even said chapter 1 this is controversial.
Oh yeah.
Make your own point, make your own list. I'm just trying to prime the pump here. And people are like, oh, well, they went through here and they're like, oh, well, how's he to say that's any good? And, blah, blah, blah. And other people are like, read chapter 1. I explained about the whole deal. It's not about how many. Now, Favorite Points has its own chapter, but anyway, that's for another book. All right, here we go. You ready? Mission 9, Tunnel of Light.
I haven't done this, but I know what it is. Yeah.
2026.
Okay.
Skipping Beverly. It's in near Chicago, Illinois.
Very old.
1,527 favorite points.
Yes.
Mingo, 2,868 favorite points.
So here's what I got to say about Mingo. Since we're on Mingo now,
how
do you not favorite the oldest cache in the world?
Right. I don't know how you not.
The sheer fact that cache has been around since the beginning of the game, right? I mean, it's not the first one. We know that. We all know the story of Mingo.
Yep.
You probably know the story of Mingo if you're listening to this podcast, right?
Yep.
This is not day one for you. It's survived over 20 years. That alone, to me, favorite point.
Yes.
Now, if Mingo was not Mingo, would it get a favorite point? Probably. This is controversial, right? But it doesn't really fit the current rules, so it's still rare in the type of cache it is.
Yeah.
Here's a spoiler: it's buried. But there's a picture of it on Google Maps, so I'm not spoiling it for anybody, right?
Again, that's a bad one.
Would you favorite that one if you found it and didn't know it was Mingo? You probably would, because it's so different. It's a huge container. It's shoved in the ground, but not 1,000 favorite points, right? But
no, not 1,000.
The fact that it's the oldest. Who goes there and goes like, meh? That's the oldest. If it was a micro at this point, you get there and you're like, hey, this cache has lasted over 20 years. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. There's a log recently, because we're watching the logs a little bit on Mingo, and somebody wrote, and it wasn't long, but they wrote a little paragraph and they're like, I can't believe that this has gotten any kind of favorited points because this is done, or whatever. And it's like, dude, there's a plaque there now. There's an historical marker because the things lived for 20 years. I mean, come on. It's the oldest in the world.
Ian did it perfectly right there. He envisions what it must have been like over, 20 years ago. And to me, again, we're not getting into this part of it now, but that's part of why you give a favorite point, right? If I go up to the mountain, which is a dime a dozen around here, right?
Right.
Mountain cache are a dime a dozen. But I get up there and it's an ammo can, also a dime a dozen in this area. Yeah, maybe more in some other areas, but here that's just another ammo can on a mountain.
Yep,
that's pretty common. You get there and it's got a logbook in it that's like one of those spiral notebooks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been there for 8 years, and there's stories and all kinds of stuff. I had a good experience, and that one's probably getting a favorite point.
Right.
To other people, they're going to be like, that's just an ammo can. I've seen that before. But to me, that whole experience, I sat there 30 minutes reading through those stories, back when people used to put stories in them or whatever, and you could do that.
Yeah.
And that's just neat to me. And it encourages me to put a story when I do that too. So that's an easy favorite point.
All right. Got another grouping for you. Slider, 1,129. That's, I think Goblin Dust originally did it. Slider is, up in the Seattle, Washington area, and it's you found one like it. We found one together, I think, like this, where You pull down on the lever, and it's like a tube.
Oh, yeah.
You pull down the lever, and it pops out the top.
Why is that even a question? That's an automatic favorite point.
Okay, hang on.
See, I have pretty high standards when it comes to caches and favorite points, right?
Yeah,
but,
you do.
A pill bottle under a bush, unless there's gold in it, it's probably not getting a favorite point.
Right.
But if you go somewhere and somebody's done some effort to make something unique, even if you found 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 50,000 caches, you're probably going to have seen it before. The odds are, right?
Right.
That doesn't mean it's not a good cache, and they shouldn't bring people to it. But anytime somebody goes and builds a gadget, even if it's not the best gadget in the world, and someone, unless it's in just total ill repair,
right?
Gadgets are way beyond what you're required to do to put on a cache.
I agree.
That, and my other one too, but to me, a gadget is an automatic favorite point.
I agree.
You put the effort in, you could have thrown out, and the time it took you to put that gadget out, you could put 100 caches out. 100 crappy caches out, right? You put that out, boop, favorite point. I don't know.
Yes. For any cache where the owner puts no amount of effort. Yeah, that's good, Jim.
Not every cache has to be like the one and only cache, the best thing you've ever seen to get a favorite point, in my opinion.
Right. Also, Lori bringing up an interesting point, which is if you've never seen it before, your first time seeing it, you mentioned that before. That's the first time you find
LPC, and everybody talks about this. Your first time you figure out LPCs hide stuff, it's cool. Now, it's fun to bag on them later, but when you first go and you're like,
oh my gosh,
you're like,
it was right here the whole time.
Yeah. Probably when your first Altoid tin that you come across, you're like, oh, that's an interesting use for that. Now, you hate them later, but at the first, you're like, that's pretty cool.
Yes. All right. Gadgets.
Everybody that's listening to this, you better give favorite points to gadgets. That's just silly if you don't. You are not in a good mood.
Yeah. All right. Next one. I got tons of these. So, all right.
Okay.
All right. Next one is, see, I'm going through now and I'm giving you the following. And some of these will fall into different similar categories.
Yeah.
Okay.
I bet you'll touch this later. So we'll
okay. I'm trying to find the example I was looking for earlier that I had. Okay. Granite Rushmore, which is we'll get into Earth caches in a minute, but your Rushmore.
I've been there.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
USA all the way south.
Yeah, Florida.
Right. Lake Vegas. Lake Lanier.
I've been to Lake Vegas, not Lake Lanier.
Right. Trying to give you different varying examples. Okay. I've been to this one, Haleakala. It's the volcano in Hawaii.
That's on the Big Island, though, right?
That's it's on Maui.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So what I'm trying to give you is great location.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
See Earth cache.
100%. The location is one of those major categories. If it takes you somewhere cool, now it's great if you go to a great location. We've talked about this a million times. Great location, great container, great story, everything else. But any of those 3 or 4, that we talked about, gets you a favorite point. Even if it's not even a good, sometimes micros have a place, right?
Yeah.
And, a little nano is not that surprising, but you take that to a great location.
Yep.
Boop, that's another favorite point. Why wouldn't you? Mount Rushmore? Come on now. It's Mount Rushmore.
No, and Direwolf, you're correct. We're not talking about those I'm not talking about every Earth cache. I'm talking about great locations. Many of them are Earth caches.
Well, a lot of them, like, Mount St. Helens and places like that. Yeah, that's natural for Earth cache because you're not allowed to do containers generally around those areas.
Right.
Which I think, was it 2 days ago? Was the 25th anniversary of Mount St. Helens?
Yeah. I didn't note on that. I saw that.
Oh, it's more than that. 50th anniversary or something, isn't it? No, I don't know. 25th anniversary. 30th? I don't know.
It's only 23.
I don't know. So somebody knows in the chat room. They'll call me stupid. So
great location.
Location is absolutely a reason for a favorite point.
Just blindly give out your favorite points wherever you go, huh?
Yep. If you take me to a great location, I'm like, wow, absolutely. Because, and even more for like Mount Rushmore, I'm going to find that without geocaching.
Right.
If you take me to a great location that I wouldn't have found without geocaching.
Right.
There's one. It's not Hanging Lake. Gem Lake. I'm looking at the CFO. She's over here. So I'm trying to get the information.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Gem Lake that we hiked to? Was it Gem Lake that we hiked to? That was the lake up on the mountain. We hiked to one, and we would have probably gone on that trail if it wasn't for this cache that was up there. I think it was an earth cache. That's an easy favorite point because you find something like that just because of the geocache, right?
Yep. No, I'm with you. Okay, I got some more. Stay tuned. I got more. I got some. I got some more. All right, here we go. All right.
Dire Wolf said, "Don't talk to you. You're typing."
Don't talk. Okay. Skip. Bum.
I don't know if it's on your list or not, but do you know my one that's an automatic favorite point every time? I've told you this before.
Well, we've talked about it, which is front lawn, right? Kind of
private residence, yeah.
Private residence. That's what I'm trying to think of.
If somebody goes to the effort to put one on their property. I don't mean like out in the back 40. I mean on a residential house and like on the front porch and something like that. How do you not favorite point that? That person has brought geocaching into their life and invited people into their, that's an automatic favorite point.
That is so controversial. Some people are like, I don't. Now, we both agree it's a little creepy.
Yes. But do it right? Do it right, and it's okay.
Yeah, but it's done right.
I'm a kind of guy. I don't want people on my property and stuff like that, but
yeah,
I've always wanted one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, do it right, first of all, and yeah. We can talk about that. That's a whole show by itself.
It's a whole show.
That's for another show.
All right. So I don't have off the top of my list an example. Okay. I kind of have
a couple of gadget caches coming out. And they said, how do you feel about caches that are built like other ones out there? I love that concept.
Right.
Because West Virginia Tim is in West Virginia. So I wish somebody here would just straight up copy all of his caches here in my state.
Oh, I'm with you.
I would be so happy about that.
Yeah.
I wish somebody would just copy every gadget cache around the world and around the country and put them in my state.
Yeah.
Because then I could go get them. I can't travel every weekend to every other state.
Yep.
Yes, it exists somewhere else. That's perfectly okay. People copy ammo cans. 99% of the containers you've seen before. So I love the idea of copying that, and I love that West Virginia Tim shares his information like that for people to do that too. So
no, absolutely. Brings us to our next category.
See, I'm gonna bust the CFO first. She says I don't like private property caches. She just said the other day we need to have one on our property. Just said it the other day. We were outside working in the rocks, and she goes, "We should have one here."
She's changing her mind.
But I know that I'm right. So
yeah. All right. So the cool container, the log in a log, the frog that has the thing in its mouth, you know what I'm saying. We found a lot of these. You two are gonna be okay.
Yeah, she's harassing me. She's close, so I'm a little more scared than normal. She's bullying me. I need my little Roadrunner sign that says help. I can hold up my signs as help.
Yeah. So you stick a bison tube
right there with a bison tube stuck in it.
Favorite point.
That is way more likely for me to get a favorite point. Okay, let's think about it. Okay, so let's say you find 100 caches this month, right?
Think about this cache, okay?
Yeah, you find 100 caches this month. So that means you get 10 favorite points to hand out, right?
Right.
Okay. You have 10 favorite points. Out of those 100 caches, what percentage of those are just going to be a pill bottle, a micro, even an ammo can, which, you know my opinion, I don't think ammo cans are that special. Everybody likes finding them, but they're not the end-all be-all. So
right.
Probably 97, 98% of those caches are going to be one of those standard containers.
Right.
Just an average cache, which we're all very happy to get. You know, let's say that 90% of them are. So that means 10 of those may be something different.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe, you know, an animal. They went to that extra effort. I would say probably 3% of the caches that I find, the people have gone to that extra effort.
Right.
So it should be that I'm handing out tons of favorite points, you know, but only 3% of them really getting it. So I've gotten more liberal over the years, for sure.
Sure. That's going to be it for another. I mean, how we give them out is almost, it really is for another show. I'm going through just for categories of worthiness. So that's tonight's Tuesday night. So, all right.
So container, obviously, right? I mean, container is one of the most obvious reasons. You have a cool container. People put effort into it.
Yep.
And don't get so jaded because you're like, I've seen that before. No, people put effort into it. Hey, I'm happy they put some effort into it.
If it's done well and there's maybe other things, but anyway, all right. How about this? This is a category this is a landmine that I can see, and I'm going to step right on that landmine because that's
okay. I'm ready to go for it.
That's the kind of person I am. Okay,
you are obviously the best ever. So
challenge caches.
Yeah, obviously I'm partial to challenge caches, right? I love challenge caches. So
you're just going to give up favorite points for challenge. Oh, I finished a challenge. Here's a favorite.
What I'll tell you. Challenge caches are quite often. They don't have to be.
Right.
My hat broke.
Oh no, that's your favorite hat.
I know, it's my favorite hat. Challenge caches quite often are not special in the container, right? Because it's not about the container. It's not about the location. It's about what you went through to be qualified for that. It's like a checklist thing, right? Like I found a cache every day for 365 days straight. Now I get to sign the challenge. To me, that effort is what usually gets me to put a favorite point on that cache. Now, it's great if that challenge cache also has a cool container, is at a cool location, or has a cool, story behind it or whatever else. But quite often for me, I'm much more likely to put a favorite point on challenge cache because I went to all that effort to do all the stuff to be qualified for it.
Right.
Now, with the caveat of it's generally the first time that I find that I'll give it a favorite point, like a unique one, right? So I'm not going to favorite point every Jasmer challenge out there because those are pretty standard now.
Sure.
But if it's a new challenge that changed how we cached for like 6 months, I'm going to put a favorite point on that one at the end because that one cache, if that's what changed it, added a lot of value to my, day for 6 months.
Right.
So that's more influential than most other caches out there.
Yeah.
So that's an easy favorite point for me. Now, do most challenge caches are they in good locations or have good containers? Probably not.
No.
Not always true though.
Not always true, but sometimes.
I try to put mine in, my more recent ones that I've been hiding, I try to add extra stuff to it, maybe a puzzle to the page to be able to open it also, stuff like that, which is allowed, by the way. But the challenge part of the challenge cache is something that you can definitely justify a favorite point with.
Okay. Next category. Challenging cache. See what I did there?
Yep, I got you.
A challenging cache, a difficult cache, whether it be not terrain, that later, a difficult cache, hidden in plain sight, and you can't see it, and you're staring right at it, and then you're like,
depends.
Oh my gosh, I can see it now. I can't believe I couldn't see it before. Favorite point.
I'll answer that with it depends.
Favorite point.
Yeah. If I go to a gravel pit and I'm doing a rock hide, that is very challenging.
The patience cache. I
also hate everybody.
Yeah, I hate everybody does. I'm not giving you a favorite point for
Probably
that.
Not getting a favorite point on that one, Again, it comes back to the effort, right? The effort put into that cache. Now, if I go to, let's say, a city park bench and somebody has welded part of the park bench to look like, a container look like part of that park bench, that's awesome.
Favorite point.
It's frustrating, but absolutely going to get a favorite point. To me, this one comes back to the effort the owner put in to make a great experience for me.
Sure. Good.
Yeah. So you're not talking about terrain. You're just talking about difficulty, right?
Right. We'll get to terrain here in a moment.
Okay.
All right. So here is the next category. I do have category for this next one. So here we go. The next category is and I'm going to give you some I know you don't like.
Okay.
Because I want that to happen. So here we go. Eiffel Tower. This one's in Vegas. 921 favorite points.
Okay.
Capitol View. I think it's the DC one. Where'd it go? Capitol View.
It's in Vegas or DC?
Capitol View. Oh, which one? Eiffel Tower?
Eiffel Tower in Vegas. Yeah, we've got
Vegas, yeah. Capitol View. I'll look that one up. I think that's just DC.
There is a Capitol View in DC.
Yeah, I can see Lincoln. That's one of them.
Also, I've got those.
I can see Lincoln. 897 favorite points. Okay.
Location.
Well, okay. Memory location. Magic Kingdom. 1,388 favorite points.
Why'd you have to bring that one up?
I'll explain.
Okay. Go ahead.
Welcome to Las Vegas. 1,712 favorite points.
I've got that one too.
The Grotto.
Oh gosh, I love that one.
Okay, hang on. The Grotto is, where'd it go? It has a ton of favorite points. All right. Cadillac Ranch out in near Amarillo, 711 favorite points.
Almost all of those that you've mentioned are deserving. Almost all of those are deserving of favorite points.
Hang on. Epcot, 645 favorite points. Bryce Canyon National Park, Inspiration Point, 628 favorite points.
Mm-hmm.
The Grassy Knoll, 593 favorite points.
Never a truer statement than what Tom just said. Great barbecue near the Grotto.
Great bar. Oh, really? I need to make a note of that.
Don't even get me started about the barbecue in Memphis because I'll leave.
Now, does that get a favorite point because it's near barbecue?
No, that gets a favorite point because it's an awesome cache.
It is awesome.
That is an awesome cache.
I actually found that cache with Susan, and I think Electric Water Boy was there when I found that one. We were coming back from Gigastock. Virtuals. So all of those I mentioned are virtuals. So virtual, old or new, favorite point. Just give it a favorite point. It's a virtual.
Not even close.
Just
first of all,
favorite point at it. Nobody cares. Just throw a favorite point at it. That's a virtual. Just hand them out like it's money.
That is asinine. So I've said it before, and it's very unpopular to say, but I don't think virtuals are great.
Oh gosh.
Now, like when the most recent virtuals came out and I got a chance to hide my own, did I do it? Absolutely. Yep. It was a great experience to be able to hide my own virtual because I've never been able to be a part of that, right? It was something that stopped before I was in the game. However,
it was part of the
virtual rewards, yeah.
But
that's a great experience. So take that part out of it, right?
Yeah, Tom, it was
love virtuals.
It was others. There were some others. There was I'm drawing blanks tonight. I don't know why. It was David and Dee were there. Sorry, go ahead.
So virtuals by themselves are not special to me. Just being a virtual. Now, the rarity of virtuals, although it's getting less, made them special before because there weren't that many and they're not making any more of them, right?
Right. Back then. Yeah.
Because we're list people before, it hadn't really changed that much yet. But before, there was a set number of virtuals in the world or in your state. So it was neat to be able to go, I have this number, 186, whatever it is, right? I have this 200 virtuals in my state. I'm going to work on getting all of those.
Right.
You can get all the caches, but that's a finite list that you can go, I'm going to get all of those. That's kind of a neat thing. But I would say for me, and the CFO totally disagrees. She loves virtuals. I ain't got time to read your comments. Don't believe me.
She's got
I would say if I had to give a percentage to virtuals that were good versus virtuals that were just meh.
Yep.
I would say it's about 50-50.
Okay.
So they definitely don't all get favorite points for me. Again, it comes back to you need to hit one of those elements, right? Good story, good container, good location, whatever else. Some of them do that. No, there's some virtuals that are awesome.
Oh, I agree.
All of those.
Exactly.
They don't have the container because that's not part of it, but they meet all the rest of them. Easy favorite point. You got 3, categories there easily hit.
Yep.
But, I know several people that just, if they go to virtual, it's a favorite point.
Yep.
Because it's cool. It's not cool just because it's a virtual. I've seen virtuals that were just literally read a sign in a non-interesting area. That's not cool. But they've been around since 2002, so that's awesome. No, it's not.
All right, let me give you another one.
Can be awesome, but they're not automatically awesome. They're not an automatic category for me.
Right. Okay. Next one. So and this is it's kind of like remember the $20,000 pyramid? I'm just going to give you categories. So all the webcams in the world, all of the multi-caches in the world.
Okay. You got to separate those out.
My favorite type of cache gets a favorite point.
Oh, this is hard because obviously everybody should favorite everywhere I go.
I see. I knew that was coming up.
And here, I can justify that too. All joking aside, way more effort goes into placing a where I go just by the fact that it's a where I go.
That's true.
The type of caches.
Yep.
Because the where I go builder program is horrible. We've had builder things on it and everything else. It is horrible. It's slow. It's ancient.
Yes.
The layer is not good.
Right.
Terrible. That's oddly enough, that's why I like them, right? Because it's like ancient. I love it. However, I tend to my favorite points do tend to be much higher on my favorite type of cache.
Sure.
Where it goes, right?
Sure.
I am very more liberal. Now, there's some of them that they're not good. The person built it. They didn't give you the right instructions. They're clunky. I'm not going to take that away from them because where it goes are clunky. But it's like 80 stages, and they didn't tell you ahead of time, or you got to do a bunch of this other stuff. That's not okay. That's just general caching etiquette from a cache owner, right? But
yeah, it's like the one you and I found in Fort Worth. It was old, so it had that going for it. It was a where I go, but it didn't tell you how many stages, and we walked back and forth. It wasn't like
it was pleasant, but they didn't tell us how many stages.
We got some exercise in, but it was like, okay, I'm over this where I go. I'm done. Whereas
I agree with this. Webcams deserve a favorite point. Oh, I do agree with that. If they're fun and different. Okay.
Yeah.
I just read it. Yes, that is true. If even if it's your favorite type of cache, there still should be some filter there, right? Like
probably so.
Probably shouldn't automatically favorite every one of your favorite type of cache unless it's just that much fun to you.
Yeah.
Like, you totally geek out about multis and you're like, every multi I do is so much fun for me, then that's a favorite point.
Right. All right. Yeah. Next one. My favorite whatever of a cache. And what I'm saying by this is, I climbed a tree. I'm giving it a favorite point. I had to go underground to get the cache, or fill in the blank. That was, I'm going to give it a favorite point. It's the oldest multi-cache in my state. I'm going to give it a favorite point. So whatever the category is.
Here's what I would say. So yes and no. First of all, having said that everybody has the right to give whatever they want,
Right.
Like if you only like purple bisons and you want to give every purple bison that you come across a favorite point, that is 100% your right to do that.
True.
I don't think I have. Now, the oldest to me usually gets a favorite point because it's lasted throughout time, right?
Sure.
So to me, that's impressive, and I'm always impressed that the owner has put up that much effort to keep it there throughout time, if the owner even has.
Yeah.
If I go climb a mountain, it's a huge hike. It's probably going to get a favorite point.
Right.
But that's my personal preference. So I guess I do have a personal preference, but nothing can't be overwhelmed by if it's a terrible cache when I get there, it's not taken away.
Wow. Do they even make those duo colored bisons? Wow.
There you go.
Oh,
well, you can pull them apart, I guess.
Or like a camo. That's true. You could camos. Those are true. Favorite point, the adventure. Yeah. That's another good point.
The experience or the adventure of getting to it, quite often that's more important to me than everything else.
Right. I didn't have that as a category, but Cache Canada is correct. To a point. So whenever we get together, I think, it's a special time. We don't get together that often. We go caching together. Now you and I are not, we don't fall in this category, which is, as much as we love getting out and caching together, we're not giving favorite points any different. We just enjoy the time. Now there's people though that'll give a favorite point to things, and it falls into a couple different categories, but there's people that will do it if they're together and it's like a special time. It's there. Well, here's another one. Here's an interesting one too. It's your 5,000th cache. Yours is not a good example because it was a Jasmer finish, and that's a bad example. 6,000. Maybe that wasn't. Did you?
Yeah. So all of our milestones.
You favorite.
Mine's not a good example of that because all of our milestones, we pick something out to do.
That's true.
We pick a cache that we want. We go for it. So it's going to be a favorite point, even if it wasn't a milestone, because we pick a special one.
Right.
However, that's a legitimate reason to use a favorite point, though.
That's true.
That was a special occasion for me, right?
And it gets into another little tweak, though, which is you find a lot of caches, you get a lot of favorite points. So it's one of those weird things where if you find a lot of caches, you can favorite a lot of caches.
Yeah, I was just about to look up how many favorite points I have to award right now.
Yeah, you can look. I put out a bunch probably recently.
Oh yeah, I have 459 to give.
Wow. I give them out much more than you do. Of course, you find more caches than I do. So anyway,
I'm stingy though. We're stingy with them, but
you're stingy.
I give it to them 100%.
All right, next one. Hey, you're friends with the CO. Give it a favorite point.
I would like to say that I've never done that.
Yes, you
However,
have.
I have done that.
Yes, you have.
Okay. Let me give a good example of why I would do that.
Right.
We have like young kids that are getting into the game, and you're trying to really encourage them. They put some effort into it or whatever, and they've done a good job.
Yep.
Maybe it would meet the standard if you or I were doing it.
Right.
In the game for a long time, but a newer person is doing it, and you're trying to encourage them. My standards for it are a lot lower then. Hey, give them a favorite point and write a big log saying, good job on the cache and stuff like that. I'm okay with that. I've done that. I know that I've done that before and been way more slack than I would if it was like a seasoned cacher.
Yeah.
So it's based on the CO for sure.
Where people are, that really is for another show.
Look, you see, 2,400 favorite points to give.
That's for another show. But Yossi's he's found 10 billion caches.
Like 5 million caches, right?
Yeah, he's found a ton. But he's being stingy. You're being stingy, Mad Finn. You need to start giving your favorite points out.
So Teresa brought up a good point. I will give a favorite point to a cacher that just put out their first cache as long as the coordinates are decent.
Oh,
now.
Good
if
point.
I find a first cache of a cacher,
yeah,
I will. And it's first of all, sometimes that's
usually it's not decent.
Yeah,
right.
That's for another show, right? You know what I was
talking about. Yeah, she has a good point. Yeah, exactly. That's good. That's a good point, Teresa.
Let's say you do find it and they did a decent job. I will spend more time writing that log up, and I may even give it a favorite point, saying this is a great start. I look forward to more from this cacher. I wish more people would start off this way. I will spend more time and effort trying to encourage them because I hope for good things from them in the future, right?
Sure, absolutely.
I'm not going to do it just because it's their first cache, but I will do it if they did a decent job on it.
Sure. I like it. All right. This is an interesting category. I don't know if you probably haven't experienced this. Some people I think experience this, and that is you're with a group, our Motley Caching crew, or you and I in a group go out together, and we find a cache, and all of us think we found a tank one time, and we all thought it was cool. We had a lot of fun. We had our little yucks, and you did the whole grab the cache, hide it, take a picture with me behind it looking for the cache, can't find it. So we had our fun and yucks. Okay.
Yep.
So then the group starts to make notes and they go, I gotta give this one a favorite point because it was way too much fun. The next person goes, I got to give it a favorite point. It's a tank. I got to give a tank. I always give tanks favorite points. And then it comes to you and you're like, do I want to do that?
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
Yeah. So
do you
no, that doesn't bother me at all.
What's that?
I don't care a bit about that.
But there's people out there that'll go, I don't know. I mean, I guess it was a cool hide. I mean,
no, I don't care about that at all.
You don't, but there's people out there that'll give
yes, people do, absolutely.
There are people out there that'll give favorite points when they probably shouldn't give favorite points because they were guilted into it. Maybe not guilted, but they've been peer pressured into giving a favorite point.
Yeah, that absolutely happens. 100%.
You know,
I happen to know that some cache owners will email people and ask why they didn't get a favorite point.
Oh, seriously?
Yep.
Oh boy.
Like, hey, what's up? This wasn't good enough for you?
Yeah, what's up? What's it going to take to get a favorite point out of you?
I've never had that happen to me, but I hope it does. Because I will spread that information everywhere I have access to.
Hey, Yossi, 1.2% of my fines give. Yeah, you're a mad Finn. You're keeping way too many there, my friend.
That may or may not be true though, because if you do like cache runs, like big cache runs, those are usually like the same.
Yeah.
If you're going out and finding 500 in a day, it's probably because it's a power trail or it's a lot of similar type caches, and most of those are not going to be worthy of favorite points, right?
Right.
So.
Bounce Mouse had a good point. We talked about that earlier. I happened to notice that if he helps somebody, he's going to give him a favorite point as he helped them.
Yes. Yeah. If that's the experience, right? Absolutely.
Example. Yep.
All right. What else you got?
All right. Next category. And this is I got a caveat again that I am not bashing anybody to give the favorite point for this. Okay. So, the Washington Monument, the monument for the raising of the flag, Iwo Jima, the White House, if there's one for the White House, Patriotism. I have one near here for Audie Murphy, most decorated World War II veteran. I got a cache there, and I expect there to be favorite points on my cache because it's not because it's a cool. I mean, it's an ammo can. It's full of little army men.
Location again, though.
Well, this is a different kind of location. This is a. Right.
It's for patriotic reason, but the location is special. If you were going to say it's pure patriotism, that's like, so if I put an ammo can in the woods and said, support the troops.
Right.
And that's a whole different issue, right?
Let's use that as an example.
Yeah.
So you paint it up and you make it really cool looking. Now that messes it up. Okay. There's just, here we go. There's just a sticker on the cache that says, I support the troops.
Yeah.
Does it get a favorite point?
No, that wouldn't do it, and that's why. And that's part of the reason that geocaching doesn't get involved in agendas, right?
Sure.
They don't want it to become political, which we're not going to even get into that at all. But
no,
if you're taken to a location that's a patriotic location, that's the location, category. If you're trying to sell the story on patriotism, I'm still okay with that actually, because there's an old cache I found. And here's a good example. There's an old cache I found, and it kind of falls in this category, right? Now the cache itself is a hike. You get to it, and it's also old, but neither one of those things are like overly impressive.
Sure.
However, the cache itself is dedicated to a soldier years ago, and there's a whole story about him on the cache page and in the container.
Right.
That could be considered that kind of patriotic. Now, it got a favorite point for me for having the overall category of everything, right? But yeah, I'd be okay with that. If that story gives you that whatever the patriotic detail to it gives you some kind of enjoyment, once again, better than your standard 98% of it's just a Tupperware container in the woods.
Right.
So that adds that extra something that I think is now, should you be required to? No, you shouldn't feel any pressure to if you don't like it.
Sure.
But that adds that something extra special for you. Absolutely, that's a legitimate reason for a favorite point.
No, I'm with you.
Nobody should feel like obligated to give a favorite. Like if you go to headquarters and you don't favorite point it, okay, they're not going to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. But is it worthy?
Yeah. Is it a legitimate reason? 100% a legitimate reason. It stirs feelings in you, right? And most caches don't do that.
Sure.
It stirs those feelings for you. And let's say you're military or not military.
Yeah.
That is something special to you.
Right.
Absolutely. That's one of the most legitimate reasons for a favorite point.
Oh, absolutely.
It's an emotional thing for you. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there. Coon Buzz mentioned about there is actually going to do that in a couple of weeks with the Motley Caching crew. I think that I'm pretty sure the container is nothing. It is a lock on the ground, basically underneath or really close to the. There's it's a virtual. Yeah, I think it might be a virtual. So. But do you give it a favorite point, as we talked about, for patriotism? And okay, next category. I think I got a bunch of categories tonight. We talked a little bit about this earlier. It's near X. And what I mean by that is not, is it near another favorited cache, but is it near the White House is a bad example. I'm trying to give you a good example. It's near my favorite barbecue place. I'm gonna give it a favorite point because it's near my favorite barbecue place. So I'm gonna give it a favorite point.
That probably wouldn't be a strong motivator for me.
It's near the lake that we like to go fishing. I'm gonna give it a favorite point because it's near whatever.
Although maybe, right? Because I'm thinking of an example. So I've flown in and out of a bunch of airports over the years.
Yeah.
People put caches near airports, right? And sometimes they make them extremely convenient for you to be able to get if you have a layover or whatever else. Those usually get favorite points for me because they help me out.
Direwolf, no way. That's funny.
Not because of your favorite barbecue place, but now if somebody put a cache and their intention of putting that cache there was to help people that were doing something like traveling through an area and you get to grab a cache real quick. Oh yeah. It's near the airport and I can get it on a layover. That's probably going to get a favorite point because it helped me out and it was better for me. So in that situation, yeah. But if it's near my favorite, bar or something, no.
Sherry, there is one there. So Sherry should give it a favorite point, right?
I don't know how good is the barbecue. Now I take that back. So let's use the barbecue.
Pretty good. Yep.
Now if it's at the barbecue place,
right,
and you're in conjunction with the barbecue people knowing about it, it's like part of the business or inside the business or really cool and outside.
Right.
Heck yeah. Right. When somebody goes to the extra effort to actually tell the business that the cash is there and they're like, okay with it. Yeah. But that's kind of a different reason, right? The business being part of it, not just like sneaking around.
Yep.
Yeah. That makes it a favorite point probably for me too.
All right. Next category. This is one that came up earlier and I skipped I didn't bring up a
I'll
comment.
give you that too. Still has to be a decent cache, right?
Yeah, Ian's right.
Like, not a terrible cache container or anything like that, but like it's still decent cache, but that could put it over the edge.
And this one, some of these will fall in other categories. I mean, we're getting through. I mean, we've done a lot of categories tonight.
Absolutely.
I mean, come on. So, but here's another category that I find interesting. But is it worthy? It's puzzling. No, seriously, that's the reason it gets it gets a favorite point, because it's a puzzle.
If that puzzle brought you enjoyment, probably yeah. Not just because it's a puzzle.
Aha. Yes.
But if somebody puts together a really good puzzle, that kind of hits one of those things, right? The story behind it.
Yep.
That the web page, the cache page or whatever, the story behind it. If it's a really great puzzle and somebody put a lot of effort into that, and I had a lot of fun solving it. Now they're all terrible until I solve them. But once I solve it, could that be a reason for favorite point? Absolutely.
That's sort of like the I've seen it a few times. I still laugh at it, but it's like, man, we searched and searched and we couldn't find it. And it was the last place I looked, I found that cache.
Yeah, that's just you don't have any comment on that. Yeah, not for us. It was the next place.
It was the next one. So yeah.
Found it, but kept searching.
That probably falls in that category of
again, that depends on the quality of the puzzle.
Yeah. And that falls really into so many of these categories. It's my favorite type of cache. But like you said, we're not going to be able to get into tonight the whole why each person does it is obviously different. And we're
not going to talk about removing favorite points tonight. So
no, we're not getting into removing them. I know I saw Kuhn and Bud mention that. We don't have time for that tonight. We're wrapping up. We're getting to the end here. So, there are. I went through and I looked at a lot of the ones that you gave favorite points to, because that's interesting. A lot of ones that I gave favorite points to, and this is how I kind of built this list.
Okay.
And I think that we definitely we are very similar, because we will give certain favorite points, I think, every time. If it's a 2000 cache, how many 2000 caches even are there? What, 30, 40?
No, there's 100 in the United States. There's like 98, maybe 116.
But still,
no, yeah,
that's about the number of webcams in the world.
There's 97 active webcams in the U.S. right now.
In the U.S., so there you go.
There's more than that in the world, obviously, but it's rare. Well, not only are they rare, but to me, the year 2000 ones always get a favorite point.
Right.
Because they have people, whether it's the community or the cache owner, they put 20 years of effort into keeping that thing alive.
Right.
And the odds of that happening and not somebody building on top of it and everything else.
Yeah.
Just so astronomical that the story of that alone gets a favorite point for me.
Right. Another good category Jim brought up. He gives the caches that he FTFs a favorite point.
That's pretty common. A lot of people will do that, because that was cool for them. They got an FTF, so they're happy about it. It was a race. And, we've done that too. So we've given FTFs that were like we raced out the door and had fun doing it, or found one in a blizzard or whatever else.
Sure.
Really didn't have much to do with the cache. It had our experience.
It's more of your favorite point. I favorited my.
Guess who owns those favorite points? Me. Right. I will do them for whatever I want to. If it's my birthday, guess what? I might get a favorite point.
I get a favorite point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Because ultimately, every person owns their own favorite points. They earned them from finding caches.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get favorite points given to you. You have to earn them by every 10 caches you find. You get one to use however you want.
Which is really awesome, I think. And that's.
Oh, yeah. I love that. I don't know who came up with that plan originally, but that's great. If they just gave them out like unlimited, they'd be worthless.
They'd be worthless.
You have to do something to be able to earn those. Now, granted, it's pretty easy, right? It's only 10.
Yeah.
You can go earn 50 favorite points that
Right.
quick. So,
Well, yeah. 50 favorite points would be what? 500 caches?
yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true. Depends on your style of caching.
Right. You mean, there's many people like Hulu can earn that before lunch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yossi, he's going to be, he'd be all over that. Lori, good point. Field multi-tour of Neat Place gets a favorite point. I like that. So it's a combo. There's the combo plates that are out there.
If it brings me more enjoyment in some way than the standard cache, fair point.
Fair point. Yep.
And don't get me wrong, I like every single cache that I find.
I know.
I'm happy about every smiley. I've never gotten to one to go, you know what? I'm not even going to log this. It wasn't fun enough.
No.
I get to log them, but that's a different thing.
That's for another show.
But I'm never like, it's not good enough for me. I'm not going to log that.
Right. All right. So what do you think? We're done. What are your thoughts on the favorite point worthiness? Final thoughts.
Having the caveat that everybody that caches has earned their own favorite points and they can do it for whatever they want.
Yeah.
To me, how I would define it is if this cache gave me fun or I had fun doing it, whatever it was,
right? Anything
more than the normal, that's a favorite point.
Right.
And, we joke a lot of time about I'm stingy with my favorite points, but I'm not. A lot of the caches I find are just average.
Oh, Pizza Ninja, thank you. This show gets a favorite point. Awesome. But yeah,
that's a favorite
point.
A thumbs up will take that too. Right. So
that's awesome. Thank you.
Two things. One, if the cache owner went to any effort to give me more enjoyment than a standard cache.
Sure.
Or if for some reason I had more fun than normal going to find that cache, like it's my birthday or the kids took me caching or, whatever is going on. It could be totally my personal reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite point.
Fair point.
That's basically that's how I define it. That's the broad terms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh gosh. You and I are very similar. Interesting. GeoArt gets fair point. RG. They mentioned before too. This is something Lori mentioned. A couple of people mentioned, and that is the final of either a GeoArt or the final of something or other,
or the first one,
like ET Highway, the very first one. That was on the list. We didn't really get to talk about that tonight, but pardon me. The first ET Highway has. Pardon me. Let me see here.
The interesting thing is, while you're catching your breath,
yes,
I'm going to be like an hour and 15 minutes from number 1 ET Highway this weekend.
Oh my gosh, yes. Are you going to try to run over there?
I don't know. If I can't sleep, we'll have to see what happens. I don't know.
May have to get over there. Yeah, it's got 1,154 favorite points.
That's pretty wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what? Obviously, the favorite in Germany, like outside of Germany, because Germany has insane favorite points on a lot of their caches, right?
Well,
if you just did total number of favorite points, Germany has to top all the slots.
The most favorited cache in the world in Germany is the Lego, the giraffe.
Yeah, but if you reach 1,000 points on a cache, 1,000 favorite points on a cache,
yep,
that is insane. That's a huge accomplishment for no matter what reason it is, right? I don't care if they're giving out dollars at the cache. That's huge.
The highest premium cache. I bet you can guess who created the highest cache premium. Has 1,466 favorite points, and it's a premium cache. So we're getting into a whole other category. This is a whole other.
We need to do a show on that too, because that's interesting.
Yep. So it's Evolution of the Rest Stop, which is a WV Tim.
WV Tim cache, yeah.
So, which is, it's a birdhouse looking thing where it's got the guy sitting in the
toilet.
The toilet, and the log is the paper. Yep, you're correct, Dottie. So again, that is
absolutely worthy of, like, how here's my question, and I'll leave you with this, right? Like, how jaded are you if you go to that cache and you don't give that a favorite point.
Yeah.
So keep in mind that 99% of the caches you find are an empty medication bottle or a Tupperware container,
bison tube in a tree,
and you don't get that. The handcrafted birdhouse little guy sitting on the toilet at a rest stop.
Right.
If you don't give that a favorite point, now I'm not. Everybody has the right to do whatever they want, but like, what are your standards if you don't give that a favorite point?
Right. Yeah.
Like, how do you get there and go, you know, like you have to realize the effort that was put into that.
Yeah, but here's the problem is that there's a few people out there that don't give favorite points for anything.
And you know what? Everybody has the right, again, to do whatever they want to do with it.
I guess.
What kind of a stick in the mud are you that you're not going to give your favorite points to somebody that put that much effort into a cache?
I know.
And now, I don't want to use WVTMs as a perfect example, right? Because there's tons of them out there that are awesome.
Yep.
The one I was talking to you about before the show started.
Right.
The one I found today was a birdhouse style cache.
It's
very simple, get like very few moving parts.
Sure.
Geocache, well done. Why would I not give that one a favorite point? Because the one I found before that was a pill bottle, literally a pill bottle. I don't even know they did a good job of scraping the medication label off of it. It was that. And then to go to that one, you can't say that that's not more, enjoyment. Yes, it is.
Yes.
You can't cash in those favorite points. They don't give you money at the end of the year. There's no point saving them. Hand them out when somebody does some effort. Now, does that encourage people to do more? That's a whole different show, right?
Right.
Who knows? Does that bring more people to that cache? Who knows? But it just shocks me when I'm like I see, like, you see one of those and you look at how many people didn't favorite it, right? Like you look at Evolution of the Rest Stop. Let's just use that one.
Yep.
It has how many favorite points?
1,000. It's the highest favorited premium cache. 1,466 favorite points.
Yes. But how many people have actually found it?
All right. The number of people that have found Evolution of the Rest Stop are 3,379.
So half the people that found it didn't think that was a above average cache?
I don't understand.
I don't get that. Like, why? Okay. Whatever. I don't know.
I don't understand. I don't. That's, again, for another show. I mean, do you TFTC? That's for another show as well. All right, we're going to wrap up. All right.
Yeah, I know.
We'll get into cache stuff later on that. But, all right. Hopefully everybody had fun. We had a thank you chat room. Everybody is different. You are right, Sherry.
That is. Oops.
Sorry, we both thought the same thing.
That is exactly correct. And
I
just wonder what people are thinking with that.
Maybe they
have the right to do it.
Yeah. That's an interesting point Rhonda has. Maybe you just don't have any left. You can always go grab one from somewhere else, I guess. But yeah, premium members.
Favorite points? Oh, that's a whole different show.
Different show. All right. Again, thanks everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. I think it was a fun conversation and discussion.
Yeah, that was fun.
All right. Good night, everybody.